of a unique event with a unique fighter who's taken a unique journey and has a unique opponent coming up. Cameron Delano, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, brother. Appreciate you having me.
It's a pleasure to talk to you. Last time I talked to you, it was fight week for BKFC 76. We're a little bit further out this time.
Yep.
A victorious first outing. What did you find, though, in that fight? Like, what has us back here? What did you find in that moment?
Man, I enjoyed every single bit of the process. The training, everything leading up to the fight, I enjoyed it. The discipline, and when I went out there on fight night, it felt good. It felt natural. I vibe really good with the crowd, with the bright lights. And so, one thing that I have took from this whole process is how disciplined mentally it takes a person to be to go through this whole process. And so, not just bare knuckle, but any type of combat sports, I respect that. And especially bare knuckle, it takes a different person to get in that ring and bang it out. So, yeah, I mean, I loved every bit of it.
How was the walkout? You're used to the high energy moments, that anticipation,
Yeah.
sitting there on the bull in the stall. What was it now like walking out in front of that crowd?
It was definitely different. As a bull riding, they really only interact more as you get on the bull, and then when you are doing good, right? Or when you get hurt. So, but what I loved about the fighting is that adrenaline lasted the entire time. And when you ride a bull, it only really lasts when you get on the bull and when you're done riding the bull. So in 10 seconds, 8 to 10 seconds, that adrenaline's done. So that was one thing I definitely valued about the fighting was that adrenaline stayed up here and I enjoyed it the entire time.
One of the things I said to you, I don't know if it made sense at the time, was were you ready for this to feel foreign from all the preparation? I'm wondering, was there any of those feelings like once the bell rang that you're like, I'm prepared for this, and then this is kind of different than what the rounds of sparring were actually like?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Right when that bell rang, it was like, oh, here we go. And I threw a jab at Jesse and missed and got stuck with one. And then that's when it was like, this is real. And I came back and, I shook out all the little nervousness ticks, that first round. But after that first round, I was good. And I know what to expect coming into this fight now.
What does it feel like to get that knockdown? You get the knockdown in the first round, and I'm expecting you're on cloud nine. You're like, everything is going just how I thought it would.
Yeah, I had just came off of getting knocked down, and so I wasn't hurt, but I was expecting him to throw hard when we came back, and I stood there, and he didn't come at me. So I was like, okay. So then I had to calm myself down because I was pissed, right? You got knocked down, you're mad, and so I had to calm myself down, and then I set him up for a perfect straight right hand, and when I hit and I saw him hit the ground, I said, yeah, now you know what's up. And then the rest of the fight, he was worried about that right hand, so I was able to really just piece him apart after that.
What do you think about that third round when you go back and look at it and you went after it and just took the victory?
I can barely hear you. Say that again.
What do you think when you look back at that third round when you went out there and you took the victory?
Man, I look at that and I remember hearing the crowd. I remember them getting louder and louder when they knew. I saw that he was tired. I saw that he was about done. And once I saw that, I remember feeling like I saw blood. You see blood and you knew that I had to finish this. And so, yeah, I felt amazing afterwards. And I was grateful for the whole opportunity of being able to be there and interact with the fans.
You had told us, and I don't know if everybody believed you at first, that this wasn't going to be in one and done, that you were now in this sport, and that first experience just reinstalled that to you that, yes, you want to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I was telling one of the other guys that, when I got closer to the end of the camp, I knew how mentally it made me better. And so I was like, I'm going to keep doing this. Right. And so, and then getting the win, just the icing on the cake. So, yeah, I plan to make a career out of this as long as it allows me to fight.
You had told us previously that you would watch bare knuckle with your daughter.
Yeah.
Has she watched your fight?
Yeah. So I called her after the fight and I got on the phone call with her and she was like jumping up and down and super excited saying, good job, daddy. And that emotionally tapped to another level. And I started crying on the phone because like that brought out the reason why I was doing it, right? And you know, and I love every bit of it, and it made me such a it gave me such a happy feeling that, you know, I got something planned for this event. She'll be there May 6th, and we have something very special planned for the walkout.
Oh, that sounds outstanding. Can't wait for it. It's so cool that bare knuckle, the short time you've been in it, this is family for you already, how big this has
Absolutely.
become. Talking about family, your teammates are like family and you've rolled with them. And one of the other things that stood out, as I remember, you said you enjoy a bit of verbal back and forth. You enjoy the verbal sparring. And we've seen that now come out at press conferences,
Yeah.
whether it's yours or somebody else's. What has it been about BKFC that has brought this lion out of the bowl?
Let's be honest, you know, there's only so many places that we can act like a kid, right? And so, you know, we can't act like this out on the street. You get arrested. So being able to do this with other fighters and being able to do the shit talk, being able to say, hey, you know, let's fight, let's punch each other in the face. I'm getting paid for it and it's legal. So why wouldn't I love doing that? You know, I had a little scuffle with Garbarino up in Philly. I'm sure you saw the videos on that. And you know, I got some words for him too, right after I win this fight.
You're making enemies quick in this sport. You're just calling out names left and right. It sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Is Bryce Hall still also, as we're talking about names, still a name that you're looking at? Because you've brought him up several times, and now we're to Alex the Terrible. So I'm guessing we're moving past.
Yeah, I mean, I got tired of waiting on him. I waited on him almost a whole year, right? We had contract. We said, hey, let's fight, let's fight, let's fight. You know, him and his team avoided it at all costs, saying, oh, you don't want it, you don't want it. I've called you out on national television. You got in for a face-off. Don't tell me I didn't want it. And I even put all the terms on his in his court. I said, we'll do your weight, we'll do your place, we'll do whatever you want to do it. 2 weeks, 2 months, you know, 6 months. It don't matter. And they just, you know, beating around the bush about it. So according to some of the people deep in the BKFC, from what I hear, he really probably isn't going to fight again. But if he does, I want to be the motherfucker that humbles him.
And instead, this is a really cool opportunity. Were you at
Yeah,
all familiar with Slaughter to Prevail or Alex the Terrible before this name starts to come across to you as a business proposition?
I wasn't, you know, and that's just because I don't follow that side of the stuff. I had seen a couple of his videos before, but didn't know that was him, right? And once they told me who it was, I looked him up and I was like, perfect opportunity, you know. And what I loved about him is he has a big following. He can sell the fights, you know. It's good. It's good media. It's good all of that. But he has a dog in him, and that's something, you know. With the Bryce Hall fight, we all know that would have been a quick, easy fight, right? But someone like Alex is going to come out there and give me his best work, and it's going to be a fight. You know, it's going to be a bare knuckle fight, and it's going to be a war. And I'm prepared to leave that ring with a broken jaw, with a broken nose, whatever. I just hope he's ready to do the same because he's not going to be singing the next night.
He's been in, people have seen the body modification, they see the videos screaming, they see the band, and they've seen him talking about bare knuckle, even the hijinks of wrestling a bear. But if you didn't follow her deeper, you might not know that
Yeah.
he's had two bare knuckle encounters himself professionally. He's someone that's game and willing to go into this. Did that almost heighten the intrigue for you in this proposition? The willing that
Oh,
you're like, oh, he really wants to do this?
yeah, it definitely did, you know, and I took a risk on this fight. I stepped up a weight class. A lot of people don't know that. I stepped up a whole weight class just to take this fight. And the weight class that I accepted is the weight class that I walk around at. So it's like, you know, it's like I took the risk. I know he's got the height. I know he's got the reach. I know he's got a dog in him. I know he's Russian. They all got dogs in the Russians, right? So, you know, I definitely it's definitely just as big of a risky fight for me as it is him. But I'm a dog, and the difference between me and him is he might be publicly out there with his psychopathness. I'm not. So you'll see that come out in the ring May 6th.
Do you feel there's a An advantage, a disadvantage, either way now for you not cutting weight? You've only done the weight cutting once in your life before. Anyway,
Yeah.
now you don't have to go through it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the cutting weight though. I felt a little bit better. When you're training, you naturally cut weight, right? And so when I walk around 190, 195, cutting to 175 wasn't bad at all, right? So it was like cutting 15 pounds. All I had to do was eliminate one meal a day and train twice a day, and I was on weight. But we're fighting at 185 for this fight, and so that's it's hard, a little bit harder because I'm having to keep food in me way more because I'm training so much just to stay heavy. I don't want to come in fighting a guy on that weighs in at 185 because on fight night he's going to be 195 and then I'd be 20 pounds less. That's a big weight difference. So um as much as I like walking around at 195, I don't like training at 195, if that makes sense.
You used to walk around a little bit over 200 pounds. Does it
Yeah,
feel
205.
weird now?
Weird. I cut from 205 down to 175 for my first fight, and I just never really gained it all the way back. I don't know if it was from the training, how I stayed more active or what, but I got up to I'm like 194, 195 right now, and I just kind of I stick around this area. If I was to lift more and probably do less training, I'd probably be back at 205, but this is my life now. This is my lifestyle.
You were incredibly happy with how you were progressing with 7 weeks in a gym. We are way more than weeks removed from that debut. You have
Yeah.
had time. We still got weeks ahead of you. How can you describe what training has been like and how you feel you've progressed since that first fight?
I definitely took a little break when I realized Bryce Hall wasn't going to take the fight. We was trying to get it lined up for November. I wish I didn't take the break. When they called me, I was actually on part of the break, so I was like, "Oh, crap! Here we go. We got to get back into it." I've definitely progressed. Up here mentally. Setting up shots. Being more technical. I've definitely gotten better on that. The power's always been there and the speed's always been there. So it was just more of the technicality things of boxing that I've learned, and I've came a long ways.
One of the guys that was in your corner for the first fight, who you've traveled with, Harrison Aiken, who introduced
Yeah.
us, know that he said he's going to stop competing at this point. Hearing that announcement, you were there live. How did that affect you having been in the trenches with him?
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody knows when it's their time to go. If he thinks it was his time to go, then that's his decision. He's definitely a dog, and I love getting in the ring with him because he's a tough partner to spar with. So yeah, I mean, emotionally, I know it took a toll on him, but I mean that was his decision. And he has other things on the horizon that he's doing right now, and so if that's his goal, that's his goal.
A veteran of the sport who would take you under his wing, so to speak. What could you
Yeah.
share as some of the best advice so far that he has shared with you about this game?
Don't be afraid to get hit. He's one of them guys. They call him the headhunter for a reason. He headhunts. And I would definitely feel like being able to spar with someone that's just as aggressive as I am does help a lot.
Ruckus atmosphere, you debut in Texas. This is going to be something else. What are your expectations for the adrenaline of how this is going to be? That kind of crowd, a raucous atmosphere, this one of a kind, four fights, four band weekend experience.
Definitely going to be super high intensity. I know that. And me being the main event, I know that's what everybody looks for. The main event. You got to put on a show. It's got to be the best fight on the card because why else is it a main event if it's not? So I'm coming out there with high intensity. He's coming out there with high intensity. I'm prepared to die in that ring. I know he's prepared to die in that ring, and we're going to have an absolute fucking war and put on a show for the fans.
With that kind of mindset, that mentality, what do you feel is going to be key or necessary to getting the victory, to having your hand raised?
Just keep going. That's all I could say. I know I'm going to get hit hard, and I know I'm going to hit him hard. So I truly believe it's going to be whoever can push their body the furthest. That's what it's going to come down to.
Have we even got back near a bull since bare knuckle?
Yeah, yeah, I have. I've been around it. I've been going to my aunt and uncle's rodeo. They do one every other weekend. But I haven't competed, professionally since then because I was trying to fight in February or November. That fell through. And so then right when I was going to start riding again, then I got the call for this. So now here we are.
See, everybody, if we keep them active, we've got them hooked now in the sport. We've got another bare knuckle addict here on our
Yeah,
hands.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Cameron Delano, again, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to talk to you. Blood for blood, everybody. This is unique. This is outstanding. I can't wait to see you back in action, sir.
Thank you, brother. Let's do it.